This Etsy store has made over $26,000 in 7 months off of just one sweatshirt listing. Just imagine if you had just a few listings in your store making this kind of profit for you. But there are lots of sweatshirt listings on Etsy. What makes this one so special? What really made this listing stand out and sell so well is that it not only has a print on the front of the sweatshirt, but it also has a print on the sleeve as well. But they aren't the only ones making major profits off of adding sleeve prints to Etsy. Look at some of what these other Etsy sellers are doing. This top listing here has sold over 11,000 times in 10 months. This one here has sold 2,800 in 6 months, 1,800 in only 2 months, and 1,700 sales in 12 months. And that's just the total amount of items they sold, not the revenue or the profit. Now, making and selling sweatshirts on Etsy is actually super simple, even if you've never made anything before in your life. I actually use a process called print on demand. This is a process where you connect your Etsy store to a company like Printify. And once you do that and you get an order, they'll actually print your items for you, send them to your customers, and even update the tracking information for you. So all you have to do is do the research, make the designs, and handle the customer service. And if you've been subscribed to me for a while and you already know Printify, but you didn't see the update that SwiftPOD, one of their printers, actually now offers those sleeve prints, then this is just a huge update that I'm so excited to share with you and the opportunities that it's going to bring your business if you can get into this early before everybody else does. I really think sleeve prints are going to be an absolute game changer this holiday season and will give you a great way to stand out in the search results. And make sure to stay until the end of this video because I did order 3 samples of sweatshirts with sleeve prints to show you exactly where to place your designs and what it looks like once it's printed. And before I get the comments that this is just clickbait, let's jump into the numbers and look at exactly how much profit you would have made if you had this item listed in your store. Now, I'm going to be blurring out this listing because I don't want 100,000 people to go copy them, but let's take a look and see exactly what they're selling this item for. So we selected that we want a sweatshirt in size extra large in the color sand. That way we can have an exact comparison. So they're selling this sweatshirt for $30.45. And if we scroll down to see how much they're charging for shipping, they're charging $14.40. So that gives us a total charge for the item of $44.85. So let's come over here to Printify to see exactly how much it would cost you to get that same item printed and shipped out to your customer. And if you haven't checked out Printify yet, I do have a link for them down in the description, as well as my free mini course on exactly how to get started with Etsy and Printify and create your first listing. So this product right here has a print on the front and a print on one of the sleeves. And for the same comparison, the sand color Gildan 18,000 in size extra large, the printed sweatshirt costs $19.28. To ship a sweatshirt from SwiftPOD, that costs $8.49. And that gives us a total cost to print this sweatshirt and ship it to your customer of $27.77. So using that knowledge, let's head over to my income and expense report. So if we are selling a sweatshirt for $44.85 and our cost to print and ship it is $27.77, then after all of the Etsy fees, we'd get an approximate profit of $12.37 per sweatshirt. Now, this is my income and expense report where you can track your income, track your expenses, and price your products. And this is for sale down in the description below as well if you're interested. So coming back over here to Etsy, I'm going to use my Everbee Chrome extension to get a guesstimate of exactly how many sweatshirts this seller has sold in the last 7 months. Because they have over 450 reviews, Everbee's guesstimating that they've sold over 2,100 of these sweatshirts in the last 7 months. And if you sold 2,100 of these sweatshirts at $12.37 profit per sweatshirt, then you would have made $26,014 before tax off of just this one listing. That breaks down to over $3,700 per month before taxes because you had one sweatshirt listed in your store. Now, will every listing that you ever post make you this much money? No, absolutely not. A lot of the listings that you make will never sell. well. But if you just keep trying and adding value and doing unique things that your customers are really going to resonate with, if you can get just 1 or 2 listings like this in your store, that can be absolutely life-changing amounts of money. Now let's get into the practical aspects of what it takes to create a listing like this. You can't just copy what other people have. That's why I've blurred this one out. If 100,000 people copy the exact same listing, then none of you are going to make money. So what I want to show you in this next part of the video is how to find best-selling niches on Etsy that are currently in really high demand, but then how to add value to them by doing these sleeve prints and other things so that people click your listing instead of other people's. We don't want to be just competing, we want to blow them out of the water. So coming over here to Etsy to do some research on what's currently selling super well right now, I will type in something like women's sweatshirt into the search bar because I like to start broad and then figure out how to niche down. From here, we want to filter our results. So I'm going to go to the all filters button. I only want to see physical items, and I'm going to filter for star seller items and click apply. The reason I do the star seller is because you can actually change the word star in the URL to the word best, and this will actually show us only items with best seller badges, so you know it's super in demand right this second. So then to do my research, I'm going to scroll through the search results and see what I can find and add value to. And funnily enough, there's quite a few bestsellers in here right now that have those sleeve prints just like I was talking about. So let's take this one here as an example, this Halloween chicken sweatshirt. This is a bestseller right now because Halloween is right around the corner. But if you're watching this when I release this video, it's actually probably a little bit too late to be posting for Halloween. But what it's not too late for is to post for Christmas. And that's actually one of my favorite strategies to get ready for the next holiday, is to look at the one that just passed and see what sold and how you can apply some of those cross niches or some of those trends to the upcoming holiday before everyone else. So to create my designs, I use a software called Canva, and I do have a 30-day free trial for you down in the description for Canva if you haven't tried them yet. So to use Canva, you'll create a new design. I like to create my designs 4,500 by 5,400 for a sweatshirt and then click Create New Design. This is going to open up a blank canvas for you so you can start designing your products. Now it is important to know that when you come to Canva, you can use different elements in their library. So if I type in something like chicken, Christmas, and try and find some graphics to use for this design, I can use these within my design. But if they have this little pro account here, you can't just use this chicken and put it on a sweatshirt and sell it. All of their graphics need to be used within a larger design to be able to sell it on commercial products. So really anything you're doing with print on demand, it's important that you take the time to understand the licensing. But once you know that you're good to go to use things like these graphics, you can look through the search results and see if you find anything that you really love. Now, when I can't find anything that I really love within Canva, then I use a second software that I really love, which is CreativeFabrica.com. Creative Fabrica is a graphic and font website that has millions of graphics and fonts that you can use for your print-on-demand business. And a lot of the graphics on this website are actually licensed for print-on-demand usage, which means you could put a graphic on the front of a sweatshirt and actually change nothing. And the really amazing thing about this website is it costs only $9 per month or $59 per year for unlimited access. And I use this all the time in my designs. So let's compare and look for a Christmas chicken and see what we can find here on Creative Fabrica. So right away, I have some really fun options that I like a lot better than what I was seeing within Canva. And to make it really simple for today, since there's not a ton of different ones it looks like, I'm gonna download this one right here. This says Merry Christmas, but we're gonna be changing it a little bit to make it our own. And I do have a free trial for Creative Fabrica down in the description where you get 10 free downloads. Once you download that graphic from Creative Fabrica, you can just grab it from your downloads folder and drag it right here into Canva. So we'll add this to our canvas here, and we will edit this some. So one great thing to do on Canva to edit graphics from Creative Fabrica is you can do edit photo, we can try the magic eraser. Now this doesn't always work the best, so we'll see how this one works this time. So I want to add my own words down here at the bottom, so I'm going to erase all of this, and we'll see if the magic eraser does its job today. So the magic eraser did a pretty good job. There's a couple little bits left, and we don't want to leave those because they will actually get printed within the design. So I'll go through and actually clean this up. When you need to, you can zoom in, make the brush a different size, and try and erase these extra little bits that are being stubborn. I also don't really love these snowflakes, so I'll erase those as well. So now that we've got all of that erased, we can add our image here. So this image is going to be for the front of the sweatshirt. And I could just go ahead and do Christmas chickens all by themselves because this one did have the full print-on-demand license, but I like to try and add even a little bit more value. One of my favorite ways to do that is by Googling different puns or memes for a niche so that I can better understand the niche in general and also look at the larger niche on Etsy. So if I type chicken sweatshirt into Etsy, it's pulling up a lot of different types of designs. It seems like there's quite a few bestsellers, popular now, and really well-selling items within this funny chicken niche. And so that tells me that this really is a good one to get into. So I actually might not make just one design. I'll probably end up making 5 or 6 for this one niche, because you never know, again, which one's going to resonate the best with your customers, and so you want to try different things until you find a design style that works. So now the next thing I might do to decide what I want my design to say is come to Google and type in chicken puns. And if you come here to the images, you'll see lots of memes and different puns, and see if you can get some inspiration on something funny that your shirt could say. Now you can even get more specific and type in Christmas chicken puns. So looking here, making a list, chicken it twice, that's hilarious. I don't know about you guys, but I just love puns. Merry Chickmas, that's a pretty funny one. You've got what the cluck. So it looks like there's lots of different inspiration you could get from these results, but I'm gonna go with Merry Chickmas. But before we put that onto a design, we do need to check to make sure that it's not trademarked. So to check for trademarks, you come to tess2.uspto.gov, and we'll check that that is not trademarked. I click live and we'll type in Merry Chickmas. And then we'll hit submit query. So here it says no records were found, which means this is not trademarked for sweatshirts. If something did come up, you'd have to look through all the results and see if that search term is trademarked on the type of item that you're looking to sell. And I'll link a video down below going more into depth into checking for trademarks if you're not familiar with how to do this, because it is a super important step. So coming back over here to Canva, we'll add some text to my design, and then I'll show you what I had in mind for the sleeve, since again, that's why we're here. So you can click the T on your keyboard to get a text box, and this one we'll have say Merry, and put that above here, above the chickens. Make this a little bit bigger. And I think this kind of distressed font is a fun, nice look. And then we'll duplicate that and put it underneath it and say Chickmas, Merry Chickmas. So coming here, you can click this text color button, and if you scroll down, it'll actually automatically show you the colors that are within the photo. Now this is an important part of designing. You want things in your design to match colors. So I could have left these both black, I could make them both red, but I think the red for Chickmas looks pretty nice. Now this is a decent design, but I think that it's not quite doing it for me, so I might go with 2 different types of text instead. Mixing different fonts can be a great way. So one idea that I might use is find a nice cursive. I really like this beautiful wildflower script that I got off of Creative Fabrica. So maybe we'll try this one in red. And then for Chickmas, I'm going to change the text to this Ematic SC. I think this one is on Canva. This one I think I'll change back to black for the color. So here you can come to this color wheel and just change the color. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger. So I think there they fit really nice, so that way the Y can fit within the M and the A. And I actually might just call it there. I think this design is really funny, really festive, but it doesn't overdo it. You know, that one that we saw for Halloween was really simple, and it's okay if this one is too. Now what I had in mind for the sleeve was actually just one of these chickens, because I thought that would be a really cute style. So what I'll do is actually duplicate this chicken design, and I will add it on a page down here below. And now I want to erase these two other chickens. So doing some kind of graphic that matches, or some words on there, or even something that you can personalize, like people's names, are all great ways to add value. So play around with different things that you can do for your design. But for this one, again, I'll come to Edit Photo, and this time I'm actually going to use the background remover. Now I don't need a background removed, but the nice thing about this is it gives me access to the regular eraser tool, not the magic eraser. So I get to be more specific. So if I click this and come into the eraser, I can get the much more detailed work that I need because these are kind of overlapping. So to do this, you just go through and take your time, delete the big parts with the big eraser, and then you can zoom in and make your eraser smaller for these littler parts of the design where you need to get a lot closer. So I'll take a minute and finish erasing all around this design, and I'll be right back. So now I've got a cute little chicken that I'm gonna add right on the sleeve of the sweatshirt. So once you have a design for the front and a design for the sleeve, we'll go ahead and save these. You go to Share, Download, and you need to select Transparent Background PNG file. This will give it that transparent background. That way you can put it onto the sweatshirt without any borders around it. Now coming over to Printify, let's add this to an item. So you'll come to your catalog, you can type in, say, featured product. You can type in the Gildan 18,000, that's the sweatshirt I sell the most in my store. And then we'll come down here to Swift POD. They're the ones that are offering that sleeve print. So you'll add your design to the front, and then we'll also add it to the sleeve, which I would probably add it to the right sleeve if you're adding it just to one. So you'll click My Device and find the download that you just made, add the one to the front, and I'll show you how to actually place this on the product. So for a design like this, since it's a little bit taller, I like to put it all the way to the top. Now if this was just the text, just the 2 lines of text, I'd probably put it about an inch below the dotted lines. That way it doesn't get printed all the way up here. And for the width, right now this is about 13 inches wide for this whole green box. That's what this means. And so you usually want your design to be around 12 or 13 inches wide for the design itself. And so now, since the width of this green box is 14, that means that my design's probably right around that 13-inch mark. And then we'll click the sleeve and do the exact same thing. We'll say Add My Design right here. And we are going to put this all the way down at the bottom where the sleeve ends. And you can drag this to make it as big as you need. And as long as it says high resolution for the design, you're good to go. So we'll just make this a little bit bigger and add it down here, ideally in the middle of the sleeve. I think that will just look so fun and funny. And you can look at the preview to make sure that it looks right when you print it. So this is what it would actually look like. These are the mock-ups that Printify makes for you. So here is the design and then the cute little design on the sleeve, which I just think would be hilarious. Now I'm not going to go into the full listing process. Again, that's what I have my free mini course for, but I do want to show you how to specifically do mock-ups for sleeve prints, since that's a little bit different than normal. There's quite a few mock-ups available on Etsy that are specifically for sleeve prints, like this one right here from Lennon Smith Mocks. Now the sand color is super popular, so that's the one I'll be using in my example today. So this one I purchased here that we can add a design to the sleeves and to the front. And then I also really liked this mock-up for a sleeve print because I saw quite a few other best sellers using this mock-up in their best-selling listings. And this one is from Simple Mocks. So this one you can put a design just on the end of the sleeve, and it is important to know when you're looking through the mock-ups and you're looking at the sleeve print mock-ups that Printify is going to print it on the outside of the sleeve, not the inside of the sleeve. So you'll see a lot of these mock-ups have it on the inside of the sleeve. When you get yours, it'll actually be printed out here. So make sure you don't purchase any of these mock-ups. I know they're super cute, but that's not where the design will actually be printed, and we don't want your customers customers to be upset. So once you find the mock-ups that you like on Etsy, you can purchase those and download them. Then we'll come back over to Canva to actually add your design on top of the mock-ups. So to create a design, this time again we'll go to custom size, but we want to actually do 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels. This way it's a perfect square, just like your thumbnail is going to be. So then you want to upload the two mock-ups that you purchased and put them right here into Canva. So this one here, I'm going to crop a little bit and make it the size of this canvas since I want it to be zoomed in a little bit more. So I'll crop it to the size of this canvas. And then the second one, I will add a page right here and add this one in here. And images like this that I think will fit really well within the square, I'll right click it and say set image as background, and then you can double click it to adjust the positioning. So we'll move it over here to center it more. And now you want to add your designs on top of these images to make it look like they're already made. And as I'm making these mock-ups, I don't want to forget to say that this isn't a tutorial to tell you all to go make Christmas chicken sweatshirts. You're all welcome to do that. But again, if all 100,000 of you do the exact same thing, none of you will make money. So my best advice is to use this to go find your own best sellers and find ways to add value to those yourself. So try and find niches that are selling well right now and see how you can apply the Christmas niche or a personalized niche to it so you can add your own unique value that not every single other person watching this YouTube video will find. So now that we've got that out of the way, we're going to add the design to the front of our mock-up. And then once we've got it where we want it, we'll lower the transparency. So this will make it look more realistic. Since this design's a little bit bright, I'm going to do right around 82. Make this a little bit bigger so it's very similar to what it was on Printify. Now you do want to make sure you don't put it up too high. You want an inch or two below the collar, and then you want to leave room around the edges because that's exactly what it'll look like once it's printed. And if you're not sure, feel free to look at items you have at your own house. Do any of them have a print all the way up to the collar? No. It's always down just a little bit. So when in doubt, look at your own stuff or what other bestsellers on Etsy are doing. So now that we've got that where we want it, we want to add our cute little chicken. And I'm going to crop this a little bit so it's not such a big space to play with. And you can use this little button right here to turn it upside down because this one would be a printed upside down. And we'll get it the size about what we think we made it in Printify. And then we'll lower the opacity to the same amount, so with that 82. And there you have it. We have a super cute sleeve print chicken Christmas design. And now we need to add this to the other mock-up right above it. So you can duplicate this and drag it up to the other mock-up, or you can copy and paste. And this one looks like the sleeves might actually get in the way just a little bit. So we want to put it to where it would actually be when it's printed. And let me show you a hack on how to actually make this to where your words are behind the sleeves so you can still use mock-ups like this. So you need to duplicate the actual mock-up. Now if you did the thing I just did where I set this as an image background, you need to undo that. So say unset as image background, that way you can duplicate the image. And now we need to do the exact same thing I did to erase the rest of the chickens. We'll do edit photo and background remover. But instead of doing what we did before, here we are going to erase everything but the sleeves, because this way we can get the sleeves to go over the print. This doesn't have to be completely perfect, but you want to get it as close as possible and not delete the sleeves. And you can do this with any mock-up, but this one really needs it. So once you have everything finished, you can come back here. And now we need to fix our layers. So right now it looks like it did the layers well for us. We'll just make sure that's lined up right there, perfect. But if your design is not showing in the right spot, you can come to position, to layers, and just make sure that your design is in between these. Yours might still look like this if you try this. Put it in between the two layers, and now it's perfect. And then we'll copy and paste our cute little chicken and turn them right side up. and we'll put him right onto the outside of that sleeve. I think he's a little too big here. And there you have it. You'll just save these as download, but now you want to save them as JPEGs. And now you can upload these to your Etsy listing to give your designs a really great competitive look, just like all the other bestsellers on Etsy. And now, like I said, I'll show you some samples of some actual sleeve prints on sweatshirts. So the first one is this one right here. I did a cute little saxophone in where the pocket would be on a sweatshirt. To place those, you want to center them about right underneath the edge of the collar and make them about 4 inches wide. Again, this is the width of this green box, not the design. So I made it about 5 inches wide, so my design would be the whole place. And then for the sleeve, I did words all along the arm saying proud band mom. And you can see this I just did on the same size canvas as normal and just dragged it to fit the space. So this ended up being about 15 inches long, and this is exactly how I placed it. And I'll show you what that sample looks like. So this is the Gildan 18000 in the color ash, and so it did print really nicely. Here's what my saxophone looked like, and I got this graphic from, you guessed it, Creative Fabrica. And then for the arm print, it turned out really, really nice as well. And this is how much the full printing space takes on a sweatshirt. So this is what the full print would look like. And this is in a size medium for reference. And sample number 2 is My Bells Don't Jingle Without Coffee. And if you couldn't tell, I bought all of these for myself specifically. So don't judge. I wanted all these to be able to wear through the holiday season myself. And then the sleeve print, I did elbow prints. I thought would be a really fun thing to test. So I did just this cute little disco ball. Again, I downloaded it on the same big green canvas and then just dragged it to take up the amount of space that it has right here. I put it just right about exactly in the middle of the sleeve, and it did end up right exactly on my elbows. Now this may or may not work for everyone. We all have different length arms, but I think putting it somewhere right in the middle should be perfect. And then to show you the sample of it, it turned out amazing. It's again a Gildan 18000 in ash. Here is what the print actually looks like on the sweatshirt. Very true to color. And then the elbow prints are super, super fun. I really love the way that this looks. And then I did it on both sides, you can see, and so it looks really fun when you're wearing it. And then my last sample for you is this one here that says Golden Mama. Since this is just one thin piece of text, I put it, like I said, a couple inches below the dotted line because you don't want it all the way up here on the chest when that's the only part of the design. Now for the sleeve, I did a custom print for my 3 golden retrievers, Leaf, Pancakes, and Pickles, and I added a cute little golden retriever. And this one is my absolute favorite. I've been living in this sweatshirt. So let's take a look at the sample for this one. So the print turned out really, really nice in a cute, cute spot. So it's kind of right where I'd want it to be. And then the sleeve print is just adorable. I've been just living in this sweatshirt. Here is what the sleeve print looks like. So when you're making your mock-ups, I did put this all of the way to the bottom. So you will have about 3 inches below it for your mock-ups. So make sure you're putting your designs up a little bit higher so it for sure is printed in the right spot. And so that's it for this video. I hope that you really loved this tutorial and that you're going to be trying sleeve prints in your store today, or even just getting started with print on demand in the first place. But just remember, you're not going to be able to list 10 items in your store and get the exact same results as that listing I showed you in the beginning. That store has been open for 2 years and has hundreds of listings. It takes time, effort, research, and trial and error to find the right listing that's going to make you that kind of income. It absolutely can happen, but you have to put in the hard work and really commit to yourself and dedicate to yourself that you're going to treat this like a business and research and make sure that you are adding value, just like I showed you in this video. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please take a moment to write the word disco down in the comments, like this video, and subscribe, and then check out this next video where I showed you exactly how to design another really profitable product for this holiday season, Christmas ornaments. And as always, thank you so much for staying all the way until the end, and I'll see you in the next one.